welcome back to Underrated Movies. Today I'm going to talk to you, sit a little bit in the middle right here, a little bit of just my theories on what could potentially happen in the uh, rumors surrounding the. It's probably not going to be a long video. The rumors surrounding the next Spider-Man films, uh, and this is just speculation. If this is were to be true, and to be honest, I'm not gonna make it a habit to do a lot of speculated news, rumors related topics of movies and pop culture. I just, I don't want to do that for clickbait. But this does provide an interesting topic dealing with the MCU and when it involves Spider-Man. Uh, there's been rumors surrounding that Tom Holland does not have an interest in pursuing being the web slinger anymore. Wall crawler, Spider Man. Yeah. But Andrew Garfield, who's kind of maybe like, kind of expressed interest in wanting to revisit the character, or at least his iteration to Peter Parker, and so does Tobey Maguire. And to be honest with you, setting up as the Amazing Spider-Man 3 and potentially Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 4, which another rumors that he is currently trying to develop and get it off the wall. I probably need to watch uh No Way Home again. I want to watch in the extending though. Is there a DVD release for that? I haven't seen it. I haven't seen a DVD release for that. It's not even on Disney Plus. I'm assuming because of Sony owning it. Is there a DVD release for that? Let me know in the comment section below. Other than that, just gonna have to rent it off of YouTube. But what I do believe with Tobey Maguire's story, which I believe they're gonna kind of incorporate his story. If I remember correctly, he is married to Mary Jane, and they're potentially, possibly discussing of having children. Or it sounds like they haven't had kids yet, but they're kind of slowly taking their time with it. Uh, Maybe that could be explored a little bit. Now, let's say if they were on the urge, or not on the urge, on the verge of having a child, or possibly maybe already having a kid, uh, the story could simulate around of Peter Parker learning that their daughter, because I believe he has a daughter in Spider-Man mythos, right? I don't think he has a son. And I think the girl is Spider Girl, and yeah, and the across the Spider Verse, it was shown there obviously. So it could be, I don't know, maybe set years after No Way Home, and maybe I'm about to say Peter Griffin. Uh, Peter Parker is trying to, I don't know, still wrap his head around the whole multiverse theory concept, and you know, and his daughter becomes aware of of her ability of being the ability of having Spider-Man's powers, and then they can have the story with Mary Jane and Peter Parker really trying to figure out raising their daughter to tell her that, hey, maybe it's probably best to live a normal life, or she tries to figure out, should I listen to my parents, try to adapt, live in a normal life and try to be accepted, or should I try to be like my dad, having the spider abilities to try to do something with it. And which I think the film would heavily tackle parenting a lot, and I think it really trying to think of another film that deals with that. But I think that would probably be the main core of the story. Villain wise, I'm not sure exactly. What's a villain? Uh, Not Venom. That's already been used. Not Carnage. Hmm. What would be a good villain? Hold on, I have my Spider-Man book somewhere. Honestly, I think it'd be interesting to probably deal with a character, a villain that have some sort of connection or relevance to the multiverse. Yeah, I actually had this book for years. Spider-Man: The Ultimate Guide. Yep, because I don't think they should try to pursue a plot line that's similar to Across the Spider-Verse or back into the realm uh, of the multiverse, especially surrounding if Tom Holland just does not ever plan to return ever again as Spider-Man. Maybe he could deal with a character that's futuristic. Cloak and Dagger, maybe Cloak and Dagger, maybe these characters are they from another dimension? Or were they like failed experiments? Maybe dealing with Cloak and Dagger. I don't know about Madam Web yet. Here's the thing. Here's the thing that I've noticed so far. Um, that Sony is basically introducing the Spider-Man villains and having their own spin-off movies, having their own individual movies. Now we have Kraven the Hunter coming out. The movie doesn't. So far, you have Venom, Morbius. It's confusing. I haven't seen Morbius, but there's a post-credit scene of him partnering up with the Vulture from the MCU. But then in Venom, I haven't seen Venom, but the post-credit scene, from what I've understood, he gets transported into the MCU briefly until the end of No Way Home. He gets transported, I'm assuming, back to another universe. So Sony hasn't fully figured out which universes these villains take place. Uh, and I think it's a continuity thing. Uh, you got Morbius and the Vulture in one universe together, but uh, then you have Venom in another universe. And I don't think it counts of him being in San Francisco and then just suddenly gets teleported into somewhere into the MCU. That don't make sense. Like teleported from San Francisco to New York while they're in the MCU, but the he gets transported into the MCU universe, but then gets transported back out. But you have the Vulture and Morbius meeting each other. So, what universe is Venom from? Is he in the Andrew Garfield's universe? If so, they need to confirm that ASAP because they are not. I don't know which universes that they're in. The film so far they have not. I mean, I'm sure they're still trying to figure out a plan, and so far it hasn't been working because they're just fishing out Spider-Man villain movies out. I mean, we'll see what Craven does. I'm looking forward to Craven because they have a good director behind it. I don't know which universe this takes place in within the Spider-Man universe. They have not confirmed it. I'm at a loss. So, unless you tell me it takes place in Andrew Garfield's universe, you better find a way to confirm that if Andrew Garfield decides to return. But back to Tobey Maguire. But I think the villain could be Cloak and Dagger, but some character may be dealing with some sort of universal kind of ability. At least for me. I don't see the Hobgoblin ever showing up, and just I just think it's been too long. Uh, or maybe Will or the Wisp. Oh no, he's an ally. I guess sometimes they fight. Rocket Racer. Or maybe they could have a bunch of other Green Goblins, wannabes. I don't know. I feel like if they do that, I feel like that's too much because that's doing too much with the Green Goblin. The Molten Man, maybe no Scorpion. No, well I heard Scorpion, but then he's in the MCU, right? So they got to figure that out. They got to figure that out where he's from, or he could fight maybe. Well, Electro already showed up in Andrew Garfield, so they got to figure it out. They got to figure out which villain that Spider-Man needs to fight. I'm assuming the one I mentioned. Or no, maybe he could fight a villain from Daredevil or from another universe that not Batman. Spider-Man can share a villain with another hero. Whatever superhero that operates in New York that Spider-Man fights. But then I don't see that his role um as Spider-Man, I don't see him portraying the character much longer. Spider-Man 4, cool. Maybe bookend it, and then you might not need him anymore. Or maybe two more movies. I don't see him doing more. I mean, the guy's in his mid 40s. Now, Andrew Garfield, The Amazing Spider Man 3. Now, same here. We need to discuss psychologically what this character has been for the last almost 10 years since the last film came out, of how he's been dealing his grief with Gwen Stacy. He says he's been in a dark place. Has he been Spider Man all the time, or has he been going rogue as Spider Man during that time for 8 years or 9 years? The movie came out like 2 years ago now. What has Andrew Garfield's version of Spider Man been doing since then? And finding out he has other, leading his other iterations from other universes and formulating a brotherhood bond. Let's see what else can we explore with him. And if it's confirmed that, well, if it's confirmed that Tom Hardy is in Andrew Garfield's universe, then hell, that's obviously Venom versus Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. That'd be pretty awesome. But also maybe passing on the baton with that too, introducing Miles Morales, since that character is now getting very popular. Maybe introduce that. Maybe introduce the dynamic of the symbiote with Eddie Brock being in that universe. And yeah, Peter Parker gets the uh, symbiote and meets Miles Morales. But I feel like this film might need to be a two-parter because I feel like there's going to be a lot of story, character development, intertwining with these characters. What about Mary Jane? What about Mary Jane in that universe? I know Shailene Woodley, who originally was supposed to be in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 as Mary Jane, maybe put scenes of that as flashbacks of their interaction and maybe sets them up to where it's been years later and then they try to catch up. Uh, Same thing kind of with Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield trying to be a father figure, a leader, or a role model of being Spider-Man, and he sees and Miles Morales looks up to him. Then we explore Miles Morales getting his powers, kind of like within the same movie. I feel like it should be a two-parter. But I think while somehow when Andrew Garfield first meets uh, Tom Hardy's Venom, I would like for this infatuation that Venom has with Spider-Man, and once the symbiote bonds with him, I want to kind of see like a much longer take of Andrew Garfield Spider-Man literally descending right back to his madness. Because I'm assuming he went mad. I'm assuming he through grief, but it goes a little bit too far in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Explore that, explores maybe some of the past villains he might have faced during that time, because the movie Amazing Spider-Man 2 was going to introduce the Sinister Six, which they kind of did with No Way Home, but this iteration, what happened to that? Explore that a little bit. But I think the main part is really exploring Andrew Garfield facing off with Venom and then introducing Miles Morales. But maybe as like a two-part film connection, Amazing Spider-Man 3 and 4. Because I feel like there's so much story, and I don't think Andrew Garfield, who knows, but I don't think him playing the character shouldn't be maybe just two movies just to kind of introduce that character, and then you probably don't need to. At least to give them the proper conclusion to finish their iterations of the character, uh, of their characters. Because I just got imaginations going on just how that could get set up. And honestly, I'm fine with Mark Webb coming back directing that. He did fine on the other two Spider-Man movies. Yeah, I thought he did fine. I thought too much CGI, but then what the hell? You needed to convey those movements of the movie. But I really think that would probably be the best way. Not don't kill off Venom. I just don't see the point. Because eventually they do become allies, and there's like that friendship, but respect, rivalry. If you remember the video game, the PlayStation 1 Spider-Man game, that kind of goes like that. And who knows, maybe later there's a whole new villain that they have to face. Maybe Mr. Negative, maybe somebody else, maybe who know, maybe somebody more powerful, maybe a hobgoblin in that universe. Who knows? Or someone very powerful. Maybe that Carnage in that universe. But then again, we don't know. Well, again, we don't know what universe Tom Hardy is in, because that Carnage, I believe, has died. Right? I've seen that action scene where like, Venom kills him. They have to figure that out. They got to fix that. Otherwise, I mean, it's just a big mess, continuity mess with the Spider-Man universe. But that's kind of just my ideas, kind of just throwing out what Spider-Man 4, Sam Raimi Spider-Man 4, and the Amazing Spider-Man 3, if Mark Webb were to come back, would be like. That's just kind of my thoughts, putting it out there. I know it's kind of just rambling of thoughts of these ideas for the sequel, but I don't know. I just had ideas for it, and well, Sony, you listening? Sure, I wouldn't mind joining. I don't know. All right, till next time, guys.